Well, we have lunch as the big wicket of Kane Williamson has fallen on day three of this first test between India and New Zealand at Kanpur. What does that tell you about this test? Is it still in the balance? Would India's lunch be that much nicer because they've got the big wicket of Williamson? We'll find out on ESPN Cricket for Match Day in a nutritional session of Test cricket that otherwise yielded just the one wicket and my run making wasn't as easy either. Dan Vittori and Wasim Jaffer. Let's start with Wasim. That wicket of Williamson, does that make India feel just a little bit better or a whole lot better, Wasim, at lunch?
I think so. I think it makes a lot of importance because Williamson's is a key wicket. Even the New Zealand camp would be a little bit obviously it won't be that worried, but it's a huge wicket. And I did say yesterday that 3 wickets, but India failed to take a review. So I was spot on.
Yeah. 3 wickets have fallen. Dan Vittori, how do you sum that session up?
Oh, I came in full of bluster before that last dismissal. I think New Zealand would have been feeling pretty good because when you watch the game, there's enough in the wicket. They're creating enough chances, enough uncertainty. So for New Zealand to weather it with only losing one wicket, I think they would have been pretty content. So to lose that huge wicket of Kane Williamson to a very good delivery from Umesh Yadav, I think it's superb bowling. That will just change the whole complexion of the game. And I think you'll have a batting group that's now starting to could see a few demons rather than if Kane and Tom Latham had walked in at lunchtime, weathering the storm, there would have been a lot more confidence going into the next few sessions.
Interesting. Yes, now we're suddenly looking at a different set of batters as well as Ross Taylor's batted in the past. Record in India isn't great. A lot of guys that haven't got runs in India. But let's just talk about the last 10 minutes, shall we? The second new ball is a bit of a mystery. It wasn't taken until the, 83rd or 84th over, Wasim, and that too, Umesh Yadav bowled an entire over without taking it. Well, can you make sense of that, or is that not such a big deal?
I think they wanted to take it just close to the session so they can bowl 10-15 minutes with the new ball, and then again when they come out they are fresher and use the hard ball. So I think it worked fine. I mean, on the hindsight it worked fine that they got the wicket. So now when Ross Taylor walks in and even Tom Latham after the session, they've got a hard new ball and fresh legs of the fast bowlers.
If on that Williamson wicket, you could just extend a bit, Wasim, as to what's caught Williamson by surprise. Is it just the pace of the second new ball?
I think, and the bounce. I think he was probably expecting. I mean, it's just a tendency to play like we all do. Just expecting a little bit more bounce. I think it just shaped in a little bit and did bounce as much as probably he was expecting, because the bounce is just going low and low. So that's probably what did him.
All right, fair enough. He didn't necessarily look his, well, not fluent himself, but certainly run making was hard, Dan. We didn't see too many sweeps from Williamson. There's a lot of solid defense, concentration. Was that just a testament to how India bowled? Was it Williamson being overly cautious? How would you sum up that innings?
Well, I think it has been a long time since New Zealand played a Test match. They played a lot of T20 cricket. Obviously, IPLs happened, and so for the likes of Kane getting back into a Test match rhythm, even I think of someone like Ross Taylor, it's been so long since he had a Test match bat. There will be a period of can I get back into that rhythm? Can I find that cadence that works for me in Test match cricket? And that's coupled with a wicket that started to be pretty tricky. Some fantastic Indian bowlers. The Ashwin, I thought, asked a lot of questions, and not just from his consistency, but also from his inconsistency. I've never seen a spin bowler just try so many things, and it was fascinating to watch the way he used the crease, the way he dived in front of the umpires, the way he changed his arm angle. I mean, for a spin bowler, it was a delight to watch and to see him to try all those things just to unsettle batsman on a pretty flat wicket. He tried everything. So I think that takes a lot for new batsmen to get their head around and just get a feel for it all. And I think that's what Kane was doing. And he was surprised by that Umesh Yadav delivery. I think he had enough pace in it and it skidded on, and it was a great piece of bowling. So that's what Taylor's going to have to deal with when he walks out to the crease.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned it. Now, you say you found it fascinating sitting in Auckland watching here. Would you find it as fascinating if you were one of the batters or even the umpire for that matter, with Ashwin doing all his extracurricular activities?
Well, I think this is Ashwin loves this sort of stuff now. I think he wants to test the boundaries, and I don't mean that in a negative way. He wants to see what he can do as a bowler, and I think he's when he's on the Indian wickets that provide so much, then he just settles into a rhythm and puts it on a spot, and he allows the wicket to do it. When he bowls on these sorts of wickets, he wants to show his variety, he wants to show his skills, and he wants to show off in a lot of ways. And I think it's pretty cool to watch. So it keeps the batsman on guard, and like you said, it definitely keeps the umpires on guard. I know they've warned him a couple of times for
Yeah.
diving into the follow through zone, but I'm just really enjoying it because you don't see this from a spinner ever. I can't remember a spinner trying this much on this sort of surface, and I think he's starting to get the rewards. I think he's created so much doubt in some of the batsmen's minds that they're on guard the whole time to him, and that's the perfect situation for a spinner.
Let me get Wasim's thoughts on this. We tend to see a lot more of the antiques of Ashwin in white ball cricket. In red ball cricket, wickets just fall for him, especially in India, Wasim. So, what did you make of what we saw today?
I think it just that on a third day pitch, Ashwin only got one wicket. That is the reason why we see him trying so many things, because his body language shows that how can I not get wickets here,
Hmm.
and that is a very positive body language. I mean, that is the reason why he's trying so many things, because in a normal scenario you would see Ashwin, running through teams. So it goes on to show that how well New Zealand have played in this Test match, and they have not. They've come only after World Cup final, and they haven't played any practice games. So it goes on to show that how well New Zealand have batted as well, and made him work
Hmm.
so hard on Indian pitches, which is very rare to see.
You think then that the variations that we sometimes criticize him of using too much of in white ball cricket are okay, at least today, because they're not really leaking a lot of runs. He's still going an economy of two, so there's control, even though there's a lot of variation.
I think so, and I don't know Ashwin that well, but when you hear him speak about his craft, it looks like he has a huge desire to get better, but also he has a huge desire to have fun. And these situations don't always present themselves where a team has been playing very well. It's a wicket that hasn't given them much. So it almost feels like there's a lack of pressure because I think there's an expectation that New Zealand will be able to bat for a period of time. So he's utilised that and turned it into I'm going to try some things. And you're right that there is a criticism sometimes of his white ball bowling. I know that we spoke about it. Why doesn't he just bowl like he does in a test match in white ball cricket? Because he spins the ball so much and he asks so many questions. So now can we have the conversation? He should bowl in test matches like he bowls in T20 cricket. So he just needs to. This is a very confusing thing. Didn't we say that Pant has to play in test matches like he
Yes.
does in T20s? And so yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very confusing team, this Indian team.
Yeah, well, that's at least gives us enough to talk about. He did get his wicket though, in the form of Will Young. How much do we credit Ashwin for that? And how much do we credit KS Bharat, who had to quickly take the gloves on after Ridhiman Saha had a little trouble with his neck? And let's hope he's doing okay. But Bharat coming in as a substitute keeper, Wasim, and that catch. How much credit to the wicketkeeper there?
Yeah, I think so. I think he left a few buys early on, and I think Ashwin gave him a very stern look as well. But he upped his game. He's somebody who's played a lot of first-class cricket, and he's kept wickets on Indian wickets, and that was a very, very good catch. Even though, like I said, he kept a lot of wickets, but Test cricket is Test cricket, and that was a very crucial blow, to break that first partnership, and somebody just coming in straight away and taking catch must have boosted his confidence, hell of a lot.
Feel for Will Young. Deserved 100, didn't he, Dan?
Yeah. It was a quality innings, and I think just that ability to understand how to bat in your first Test match in India, to come up against these three amazing spin bowlers and two superb fast bowlers as well, and to look so confident and comfortable. I was actually surprised when you look at his strike rate. It felt like he presented a more aggressive innings, but I think that shows that he had the right balance. That he played the aggressive shots when he needed to, and he also understood his defensive game. And I think Wasim mentioned yesterday that the best players in India have their defensive game sorted out, and then they deal with the poor balls or the aggressive shots as they go along. But Will Young looked like so compact and such an understanding of his defensive game that it allowed him just to play in this manner.
All right, let's get a quick comment from either of you on Rahane tactically. Now, we're wondering how it uses three spinners. Was him 28 overs, Ashwin 20 to Jadeja, 14 to Akshar Patel. Does that seem like a fair distribution and utilization of his spinners? Do you feel like Akshar Patel, after the sort of home series he had against England, is perhaps underbowled? What did you make of it so far?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's preferring Ashwin and Jadeja moreover, and that was happens when you play three spinners. You know, one of the spinners will get underbowled. So I think uh, probably after Ashwin gets a little rest, I think it will come on. Uh, Aksar will come on, and the fast bowlers. I feel when the ball's new, it is a good chance for them to attack the stumps and look to bowl in the stumps and get LBW bowled into play. I think it's one of those pitches, Ronak. I think where you might not get wickets, but the scoring rates, you can control those scoring rates. That is the reason why India is not letting them run away with the game. The run rate is only 2.3, so it's one of those wickets where you can bat, but you can't score runs quickly. So that is something which I think Indian bowlers are doing pretty well.
Sure. Dan?
I think that's a. I was going to say I think that's a really good point. I think Test matches turn quickly when the economy rate is at the point that it is now. So, whilst New Zealand will be satisfied where they are, I know a bowling tack will also be satisfied because they've been able to hold because they've bowled well. That economy rate of around two, things change incredibly quickly. So, I think India should be really happy with the way they've bowled, and so it's been an absorbing Test match with two facets of the game on either side, both teams doing well. And now it's the middle session, which has obviously been New Zealand's the whole time. So we can guarantee this one, and then we'll have to see what happens in the last session. But I think India should be satisfied with where they are, as should be New Zealand. So
Yeah.
it's a great Test match.
Yeah, I'm sure we don't want this pitch to go back to sleep after lunch, even though Wasim Jaffer has made that point. We wanted to come alive, maybe after 3 days or after going into the third day. It will. Now, Akshar Patel took the new ball. Is that what we'd likely see continuing, Wasim, after lunch with Umesh Yadav one end, Akshar the other? Is Ashwin just going to say, nah, I'm going to bowl now?
No, I think a left arm spinner will be a good option, whether Jadeja or Akshar and a seamer from one end, and see how it goes for the first 15-20 minutes and then take a call. But definitely you need one seamer to bowl and one spinner. With Ross Taylor coming in, hopefully make inroads with the new ball. That is what they will look to do at the start of the session.
Your good friend Ross
Ronak,
Taylor, what sort of form has he been in, Dan? Yeah.
well, firstly, I think Ronak, you've forgotten what a Test match is supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be over in 3 days. It's supposed to be competitive. This
Yeah.
this this is the appropriate point of where we should be. Too much T20 cricket, too much England being bowled out for 90. This is fascinating. This is absorbing. So I'm happy with where it's at. But I mean, Ross Taylor hasn't batted for a long time. He has been waiting for an opportunity, and so this will be fascinating how he comes out in a tricky situation. I think it almost suits him well to come out after lunch, where it's almost that momentum that India had has been slightly deflated by the break. So I think he'll have a game plan. He'll understand what he needs to do, and look, he's one of New Zealand's best cricketers. So I back him to understand what he needs to do in this situation.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, we'll find out now. Yeah, and Dan Vettori is absolutely right. I think I'm already guilty of booking tickets from Monday onwards, assuming Kanpur would wrap up in 4 days. But no, if it goes five, then I'd love to keep talking cricket with Dan Vettori and Wasim Jaffer, as we will on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It has been and it is an absorbing test match. So could turn either way with those numbers at the bottom. India have got their 345. We thought those were plenty of runs. Suddenly we thought it may be par. And after 7 sessions of cricket in this first test match, New Zealand are solid at 197 for two, but that could change with every session. Join us at tea time. Oh, I forgot. I should take my little prediction. Dan Vittoria has said that this is going to be New Zealand session, and he's gone. He's already gone. That is it. That is how confident he was, Dan Vittori. Let me ask Wasim Jaffer now because he's patient like the opening batter is, and he's with us. So let me ask him, Wasim, are we expecting something big to happen in this session, or India would take a couple of wickets at this sort of run rate?
I think I'm expecting at least three wickets in this session with the
Hmm.
run rate that they are going. So 70 for three is what I expect.
Brilliant, brilliant. I'm going to have to ping Dan Vittori that this was Wasim's prediction for you bounced off. And we'll pick up the chat at T on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Fascinating day of Test match cricket, hopefully lined up in store. And join us for the chat at the end of each session.